What if the most intense emotional connection you feel isn't with a person, but with a character you spent 100 hours and $100 trying to win? Why is it that millions of us are drawn into the shimmering, high-stakes world of gacha games like Genshin Impact or FGO? What is it about these digital worlds that can lead to moments of ecstatic joy and equally to profound, soul-crushing emptiness? Let's break down the complex psychology behind the pull. First, let's talk about the engine that drives the entire gacha experience. Its uncanny resemblance to a slot machine, but one that has been perfected for the digital age. At its core, the gacha mechanic is a masterclass in behavioral psychology, specifically what's known as a variable ratio reinforcement schedule. Now, that sounds complex, but it's a principle of operant conditioning, where a reward is given after an unpredictable number of actions. It's the reason why checking your email or scrolling through social media can feel so addictive. You don't know when you'll get a rewarding post, but you know it could happen, so you keep checking. Gacha games take this to an extreme. Every pull is a gamble. Most of the time, you get something common, but occasionally, just often enough to keep you hooked, you see it, the golden flash, the rainbow animation, the signal that you've won something rare. This is the intoxicating rush. It's a flood of dopamine, our brain's reward chemical, that is incredibly powerful precisely because it's unpredictable. Psychologists have shown that this pattern is the most effective at compelling repeated behavior. This is the very same principle that keeps gamblers pulling the lever on a slot machine, convinced the next one will be the big win. Think about a time you were pulling for a character you desperately wanted. With each tap, your heart races. You see a string of low-rarity results. Frustration builds. But then, you see a near miss. Maybe you get a high-rarity item, but it's not the one you wanted. This is another powerful psychological trick. The near miss doesn't feel like a total failure. Instead, it feels like you're getting closer, fueling the belief that the desired outcome is just around the corner. It encourages you to think, just one more pull. I'm so close. And this is where a cognitive trap called the sunk cost fallacy takes hold. You've already invested time, maybe in-game currency, or even real money. To stop now would be to admit that all that prior investment was for nothing. The human brain is wired with loss aversion. We feel the pain of losing something more strongly than the pleasure of an equivalent gain. So, you keep going, chasing the initial goal not just for the reward itself, but to validate the resources you've already lost. The system isn't just selling you a character, it's selling you the hope of justifying your past self. Secondly, we can't ignore the deeply social dimension of these games. Gacha is not a solitary addiction, it's a communal experience, and this is where the sociology comes in. The very design of these games leverages our fundamental human need for belonging and social comparison. On one hand, there is a genuine, powerful sense of community. Forums, Discord servers, and fan groups are filled with players sharing their triumphs. Posting a screenshot of a rare character you just pulled can get you hundreds of likes and congratulatory comments. It's a form of social validation. In that moment, you are not just lucky, you are seen and celebrated by your peers. This shared experience, the collective understanding of the struggle and the joy, forges strong bonds. You belong to the tribe of fellow players who get it. However, this same social architecture has a much darker side. It's a perfect environment for what sociologist Leon Festinger called social comparison theory. We have a natural drive to evaluate our own abilities and opinions by comparing ourselves to others. In the world of gacha, this translates to comparing our character rosters. When you see a friend or a streamer effortlessly pull the character you just spent a week's salary failing to get, it can trigger an upward comparison, assessing your own status relative to those doing better, which can reduce motivation and feelings of competence. This can trigger intense feelings of envy, inadequacy, and the now infamous fear of missing out, or FOMO. Game developers are masters of engineering this. Limited time events and exclusive characters create a sense of artificial scarcity and urgency. This powerful character is only available for the next 14 days. The message is clear. If you don't get them now, you might miss out forever. You'll be left behind while everyone else in your social circle is enjoying the new meta. This pressure transforms playing the game from a source of personal enjoyment into a competitive, status-driven race. Your desire to play becomes entangled with your fear of being excluded. This is how a free-to-play player, who is perfectly happy enjoying the story, can be manipulated into spending money not for the love of the game, but to alleviate the social anxiety of being left out. Finally, beyond the mechanics of manipulation and social pressure, we have to ask, what genuine meaning are players finding here? For many, the answer lies in identity and connection, but not just with other players, with the characters themselves. This is where we see the rise of what researchers call parasocial relationships, the one-sided emotional bonds we form with media figures, including fictional characters. Studies have shown that video games have a significantly higher potential for forming these bonds than any other medium because of their interactive nature. The characters in games like Genshin Impact are not just collections of pixels. They have elaborate backstories, distinct personalities, and professional voice acting. Players spend hours with them, completing their personal story quests and learning their hopes and fears. A powerful emotional bond is formed. These characters become more than just tools to win battles. They become companions. Getting a rare character isn't just a strategic victory. It feels like welcoming a friend. Players don't say, "I acquired the 5-star character." They say, "I brought Kazuha home." This language is telling. It signifies a deep personal attachment. In a world that can often feel isolating, these parasocial bonds can provide a very real sense of comfort and companionship. For many free-to-play gamers, this is the core of the experience. They find meaning not in the gambling aspect, but in the patient art of world building and character development. They prove that it's possible to engage with these worlds on their own terms, extracting genuine narrative and aesthetic pleasure without spending a dime. They are the patient collectors, finding pride in their slow and steady progress. This is their form of resistance against the game's economic pressures. They find their identity not as a high roller, but as a savvy strategist who can thrive through patience. They prove that meaning can be found, not just purchased. So, we're left with a profound duality. Are gacha games predatory, exploitative systems designed to wring money from psychologically vulnerable players? In many ways, yes. They employ finely tuned behavioral conditioning techniques that mirror gambling. But are they also vibrant cultural spaces where players forge genuine communities, build identities, and find deep emotional connections with compelling characters and stories? Absolutely. The cultural power of gacha lies precisely in this tension. They are a battleground for the modern soul, pitting sophisticated corporate manipulation against our innate human desires for community, for status, and for meaning. They reflect a world where the lines between entertainment and commerce, between genuine connection and manufactured desire, are increasingly blurred. The golden flash of a rare pull is more than just a reward. It's a momentary resolution of that tension, a flash of triumph in a system designed to keep you wanting more. The real question is, what happens after the light fades? Do you feel the satisfaction of connection and identity, or just the emptiness of the next pull? The answer reveals as much about us as it does about the game. What has your experience been? Do you see it as harmless fun, a dangerous trap, or something in between? Share your story in the comments below. And if you enjoy exploring the psychology behind our digital lives, make sure to follow for more.